Coming up on News 2, will some of the former candidates be taking the St. Thomas St. John District Board of Elections to court? Details and an update on 7 Bureau of Correction officers who were put on administrative leave after staging what the B.O.C says was a job action. We hear from B.O.C officials. Plus, the VIPD has launched an awareness campaign to increase safe behavior during the holiday seasons. Police are asking for bands, singers, or solo artists. Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Continuing election coverage, will some of the former candidates be taking the St. Thomas St. John District Board of Elections to court? The board failed to make a quorum Thursday when they were supposed to meet and decide whether to grant or not to grant petitions for a recount. However, the board failed to make that deadline. News 2's Erica Bivens is standing by with this update. Erica?
Well, as News 2 reported Thursday, the St. Croix Board of Elections rejected petitions for a recount by 3 former candidates, citing that the petitions failed to meet standards set forth in Title 18, Section 629 of VI Code. Now, the St. Thomas St. John Board of Elections also denied a recount, but only because the board failed to gather a quorum. Only members Harry Daniels, Claudette Georges, and Wilma Marsh Monsanto attended. However, Daniels objected to Monsanto's participation since she also had a petition. Board Chair Alicia Wells was out of the territory and did try to join by phone. However, it was stated a quorum must have at least 4 board members physically present. Assistant Attorney General Kim Salisbury, who was there representing the board as legal counsel, had this to say.
The only way to have a recount is if the board votes to have a recount. The statute doesn't speak to them not meeting, but the logical conclusion would be that if they don't vote for a recount, there isn't going to be one, and therefore the result would be that if the petitioners want to pursue it, they'd have to go to the district court.
Now, VI Code states that the aggrieved candidate may also appeal their case to the district court within 5 days of the board's decision, which can also render its own decision, but it doesn't specify whether it's 5 working days or 5 days total. Now, Salisbury says that's up to the court's interpretation. However, Monsanto says she plans to take this matter to court before any deadline. Now, assuming it's 5 total days, St. Croix petitioners would have until Monday to appeal to the district court, and the St. Thomas St. John district would have until Tuesday. Sandy?
Thanks for that, Erica. The territory's current energy crisis may have an immediate short-term solution, as Delegate to Congress Donna Christensen has recently proposed the Virgin Islands Energy Crisis Relief Act, seeking short-term federal funds to provide immediate relief to the high energy costs. News 2's Janisha John brings us this story.
The impact of rising energy costs can be seen throughout the territory, as many business and homeowners struggle to pay high energy bills, a crisis that is now being addressed in recent legislation to help bring immediate relief to the territory.
It's part of an ongoing process of trying to get some funding for the territory. We thought we would introduce a bill, let them know that we're serious, that the need is serious, while we continue some other discussions as well.
Congresswoman Christensen will reintroduce Bill H.R. 6631, the Virgin Islands Energy Crisis Relief Act, a bill aimed to bring a short-term solution to high energy costs.
Trying to not only get some long-term help. Everybody has loans that can help us convert to some other kind of fuel, help us go to renewables, help us go to LNG, LPG, or anything. But what we need right now is some immediate relief for the people of the territory.
The bill seeks assistance through a number of federal programs, such as the Department of Agriculture to provide $100 million to WAPA to subsidize the cost of fuel, an additional $15 million to fund the conversion from fuel oil to LNG or LPG, and increasing the number of qualifying residents that receive federal help through the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program.
It's a difficult time to be asking for money, but no one else has the energy costs that we have, and it's going up, and it's likely to go up again next year, and that is unbearable. It's going to take a lot of work. We've started encouraging organizations to support the bill in writing so that the members of Congress, both House and Senate, will hear from us.
Janisha John, News 2.
Officials from the Bureau of Corrections have come forward to set the record straight regarding the recent suspension of several officers Last month, 10 guards from the St. Thomas jail left their post to request a meeting with the director. Corrections officials say those actions jeopardize the community's safety and will not be tolerated. News2's Erica Parsons has more.
You cannot put the lives of the inmates and the safety of the community at risk.
That's just what Bureau of Corrections Director Julius Wilson said St. Thomas guards did when they refused to take their post last month and instead requested a meeting with the director. Now those officers are facing disciplinary actions for not following the chain of command.
You cannot ignore all levels of supervision and then demand a meeting and stage a walkout if you don't get that meeting. So we have begun disciplinary proceedings against those officers who staged this action.
The officers in question told News2 then that they have a number of concerns that have gone unanswered.
I'm not afraid to talk about the criminal activities that are going on inside the institution, but I'll try to get it inside the legislature where you do have whistleblower protection.
We need some more help too. We need running this place a little better. And we need a hearing. We need a hearing. Somebody need to listen to us because it's a stressful job.
He just told us to vacate the premises. He did not give us a chance to express our concerns, which is dealing with the safety in the jail.
We understand that staff has grievances, but we have processes in place to address grievances.
I would like to assure this community and the general public at large that the actions taken was unwarranted, uncalled for, and irresponsible.
B.O.C. officials say with the shortage, they have implemented an emergency operational plan, so everything is covered now. Erica Parsons, News2.
Now, B.O.C. officials say after the hearings are over and the hearing examiner has submitted their report, the warden will tell the director whether disciplinary action is needed. St. Croix's acting chief of police, James Paris, advises the public of several arrests made. Charges include robbery, extortion, and reckless endangerment. Arrested were 19-year-old David Gonzalez Jr. in the Ario Diaz housing community, 29-year-old Kareem Williams in the JFK housing community, and 25-year-old Eugene Roberts, who was arrested in Estate New Works, as well as 18-year-old Jamal Augustine, who was recently bound over as an adult. A 17-year-old minor was also arrested. All suspects will attend advice of rights hearing. The VIPD website has a new page honoring their retirees. The department is asking all retired VIPD officers to email their information to mrames@vipd.gov.vi, or you can call 712-6080. Information should include their date of hire and retirement, education, special skills, as well as areas of assignment. They can also add a comment on their time serving. Well, there's still no sign of an agreement to avoid the fiscal cliff, but both Democrats and Republicans are in favor of a new plan to streamline the negotiations. Danielle Nottingham has the latest details from Washington.
One! Before the first family lit the national Christmas tree, President Obama said the mandatory spending cuts and tax hikes that could kick in 25 days from now are threatening to ruin the holidays for millions of Americans.
I think the American people are counting on this getting solved.
The two parties are now leaving negotiations to the two main power brokers, President Obama and House Speaker John Boehner.
If the president doesn't agree with our proposal, I believe that he's got an obligation to families and small businesses to offer a plan of his own, a plan that can pass both chambers of the Congress.
With the clock ticking toward the fiscal cliff deadline, government workers have joined the push for a compromise, but they want to make sure they're not cut out of a deal.
Federal employees that I represent have offered up $103 billion to the federal deficit.
J. David Cox of the American Federation of Government Employees says federal workers can't afford any more cuts and that going over the fiscal cliff will impact millions of Americans.
There would be a lot of federal employees who would be furloughed or RIF'd and will lose their jobs.
Economists say the combination of automatic spending cuts and tax increases that will kick in January 1st if Congress and the president don't reach an agreement could plunge the country back into recession. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
Now, meanwhile, as News 2 reported, artwork from the students of BCB Middle School was selected to be displayed at the White House as part of the National Christmas Tree lighting. They worked with their teacher, Bridgette Julius, to create original ornaments representing the Virgin Islands each year. The VI Council on the Arts selects the local artists to work with students to design and create ornaments for the annual National Christmas Tree display in President's Park in Washington, D.C. In the park, each state and territory has a tree bearing 25 unique ornaments.
I told them we're looking for ornaments that represent the Virgin Islands, since that's what that tree is for. And I asked them to come up with designs, come up with ideas. Sketch them out on paper, let's look at them, decide what we might keep and what we won't keep. And the ones that we did keep, they had to figure out how they were to make them from a two-dimensional form to a three-dimensional form.
I choose a steel pan because part of our culture in the Virgin Islands is music. So the steel pan portrays the music of the Virgin Islands.
First, I make the box, and then I take like material to stuff it so it could rise up. Then I put on the bottom part for the beach, and then I just make the girl and I make a palm tree.
Great job and congratulations to the students. Keeping our eye on the economy, the U.S. economy added 146,000 jobs in November, and the unemployment rate fell to 7.7%, the lowest since December 2008. The jobs report indicates employers held steady in their hiring, even in the face of the so-called fiscal cliff and Superstorm Sandy. But the report also indicates the unemployment rate was lower because more people stopped looking for work. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. The Dow up 81, NASDAQ down 11, S&P 4. Coming up on News 2, the VIPD has launched an awareness campaign to increase safe behavior during the holiday season, and they're asking for bands, singers, or solo artists to record and submit a 30-second jingle promoting safety. Plus, the Holiday of Hope fundraiser was held. Highlights from the annual event sponsored by the St. Croix Hotel and Tourism Association and the St. Croix Chamber of Commerce. The VIPD has launched an awareness campaign to increase safe behavior during the holiday season. Police are asking for bands, singers, or solo artists to record and submit a 30-second jingle promoting safety. Now, you can drop off a CD to any VIPD substation or upload it to YouTube and email the link to mrains@vipd.gov.vi. December 17th is the deadline. The jingle will be incorporated into their holiday safety messages, which will air throughout the season. The St. Croix Hotel and Tourism Association, together with the Marine Toys for Tots Foundation, raised more than $20,000 for scholarships Thursday at the 7th Annual Holiday Hope Benefit. They also collected more than 1,400 toys for local charities.
We're very pleased to have the benefit here, and it's a contribution that we love to make.
I'm very pleased with the attendance this year. It's a little less, however, the community has been more than generous.
Thought it was a good theme to have the dog tag machine here, make military dog tags for the children and other people that want them for their dogs and for veterans, and that all donations, all the proceeds will go towards the event tonight.
I always support CASA and all the nonprofits. It's important. We have to give back to our community. That's where we live, and we want to see our community grow.
Now, don't forget, the Governor's Christmas Party is coming up for the St. Thomas St. John District, and that's on Saturday from 2 to 5 p.m. at Roosevelt Park on St. Thomas. And then on December 15th from 2:30 to 4:30, it'll be held at Government House in Christiansted. Now, lots of giveaways and surprises in store, but of course the biggest surprise, Santa and his elves will be there to greet everyone. The 7th Annual Woodworkers Expo has kicked off and now in progress. It features the works by members of the St. Croix Wood Artists, Inc. and the St. Thomas St. John Woodworkers Society. The expo opened today and continues through Sunday. The expo offers an opportunity to view and purchase exquisite quality work by some of the finest woodworkers anywhere. There will be also demonstrations by master woodworkers. A second session is scheduled on St. John for December 14th to the 16th. It will open at 1 p.m. on Friday, December 14th and 10 a.m. on December 15th and 16th. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.